Hello, good day, everyone. I'm Mike Putman.
And I'm James Farrar. Welcome to No Tourists Allowed.
Glad to be back for another exciting episode. Lots going on this time of year in the travel space.
And Mike, you really are just back.
Just back, fresh off the plane. Yeah, did a quick 1 week, 4 city trip to Europe. So that was a lot of fun. Got some things to talk about there. But yeah, I had pretty exciting week. I left on Thursday, and every flight I was on was delayed. But I ended up making it into Frankfurt on time, though, and, from there, I caught a train out of the station, which they've got 2 train stations in the Frankfurt airport, huge airport, very expensive, and, went to Cologne for a couple of days meeting and, got some time to do a little bit of sightseeing in Cologne, which they have I'm sure you know, but they have one of the oldest cathedrals, actually the oldest cathedral in Northern Europe in Cologne, and it was actually the tallest structure in the world for about 300 years as well. There are 2 massive spires, right in the city, right in the center city, right beside the train station in Cologne, and, yeah, I got to spend some time there.
You
They
looked out
also
on the flights. Had you been a couple of days later, I saw an interesting statistic that Sunday and Monday were the two worst airline travel days since the pandemic. There were almost 20,000 cancellations and delays as a
Wow.
result of the snowstorms.
Yeah. Yeah, so luckily I wasn't part of that, but back to the cathedral, they also have the, I guess you call it the vestiture of the 3 magi, there. So, there's at the end of the cathedral, there's this big kind of large gold box, I mean, uh, probably 6 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet, and inside are supposedly the remains of 3 magi, which was interesting right past Christmas time. Something everyone, if you're in that part of the world, you should go out of your way to see that cathedral. I've seen a lot of cathedrals, and this is one of the more spectacular ones. And then I also got to have some Kolsch beer. That's Kolsch, which is the only beer in Germany that by law has to be brewed in a specific region. So, it used to be that that beer had to be brewed by breweries that had eyeshot or that could see the spires of the cathedral, bringing this around into this story. Um, but now it's, anything within 30 kilometers of those of the cathedral, basically. It was pretty interesting. They have these, beer they call them beer halls. They have beer gardens, I guess, during the summertime, but in the winter, they have beer halls. When you sit down, they'll say, "Do you want a beer?" And you go, "Yes," and, like, it's not like you want flavor A, flavor B, flavor C. You get their brand of Kolsch beer or, their brewed Kolsch beer, and then they put them in these smaller glasses. They're 200 milliliters, so it's about I think I figured out about 9 or 10 ounces, so not a big glass. And then when you're kind of almost through with it, they just bring you another. They keep it's like these Argentinian steakhouses. They just keep bringing them until you put a coaster on top, signifies don't
Yeah,
bring me any.
it's like
Um,
bottomless brunch.
yeah, and then they use those little cardboard coasters and they put a mark on it to signify how many you've had, and that's how much you pay for at the end. So that was a pretty interesting experience. Yeah, so I did that, and then I had a meeting in Vienna, and I took the train from Cologne to Vienna, which was really nice. It was about a 6-hour train journey, and, I was on the high-speed ice trains and went in first class. And the interesting thing was first class was only maybe probably $70 more than second class, but you got a nicer seat, broad wider seat, and they had some service there as well in a restaurant car and so forth. But anyhow, it's a really pleasant journey going, traversing, most of Germany and quite a bit of Austria, and got to see a lot of snow and a lot of mountains as we got into Austria. It was very beautiful.
Yeah, I was in Austria in November. Spectacular.
Yeah, and then I had a business meeting there and, stayed at the Marriott, which was a really nice hotel, very nice Marriott in right in the middle of, Vienna, and, they have a great public transport system, which, I love. You're able to get kind of everywhere. And one thing I would suggest our listeners do too is if you're gonna go spend some time in a European city, and almost all European cities have public transport, and they're generally pretty complete with a combination of trams, subways, and buses, depending upon which city you go to. But this is one where it's worth doing a little bit of investigation before you go because they often have tourist passes. They call them tourist passes where you can buy a full day of public transport for €9, say $10, and you can use unlimited transportation. Due to the fact that these cities are so highly populated and a lot of people don't own a car in these cities, you can get around to really like everywhere. You might have to walk 100 yards or 200 yards, but through a combination of using buses and trams, above ground trams, and then subways, you can really navigate the city. Oftentimes, travel much quicker than if you were in a car or an Uber because they've made these public transport lanes very efficient. So it's a great way to save money. Just as an example, just to get from the airport in Vienna to central Vienna is about €30 in a Uber, just a regular Uber, where you can do it with public transport for as low as 4 or €5.
Yeah. Plus, you see more because you know, you're not on just the highway or whatever. You see more and you interact more with people, as we've talked about before on this podcast. It is one of the ways taking public transportation is one of the ways you get closer to the culture, right?
Yeah.
And have a more real experience. So I do like that. I mean, we shouldn't discount New York, where they also figured out a long time ago that public transportation is the best way to move people around in a city this complex and with this many people. So, for example, even though I'm always in a car, I will never drive my car over to Brooklyn because it'll take me an hour and a half to get from the city over to Brooklyn, but it takes, 15 minutes and 2 train stops on the subway. So New York is better in public transportation too. Not to mention that then you go park your car and they want you to buy it back when you, when
Yes.
you it's like $80 to park your car.
Yeah.